Hi there. Welcome to yoga. If you haven't been here before, my name is Chelsea. We are going to try a yoga sequence on car rides, or more so stretching after a car ride. So I know for August, I think a lot of us want to leave, a lot of us want to travel, and that involves a lot of sitting. So this little sequence here is to practice after you are done traveling and you're in your nice comfy hotel room or Airbnb. So we're gonna start seated on our mat and coming to our breath. So I'm going to be seated cross-legged. And if you do want to come into more of a neutral pelvis, you can sit on some height. So I've got a block. You can use a pillowcase, even a book, and just lifting your hips higher than your knees. And that will neutral out the hips there. So resting our hands on our knees, just gently gazing ahead of you. We're going to come to our breath. Take a nice deep breath in and nice deep breath out. And our next couple breaths here, we're going to make it even. So breathing in for 4 and sighing out for 4. Those next couple of breaths, we're now going to change to Ujjayi breathing or oceanic breathing. And same inhale through the mouth or through the nose. And as you exhale, you're going to keep the mouth closed, but heat the throat, kind of like you were going to fog up a mirror, but with your mouth closed. So you might be able to feel the vibrations in your throat, kind of like the ocean waves. So as we inhale for 4, we're going to ocean breath out. And the noise that you may make when you're fogging up your invisible mirror is the inside of a seashell. And continue this for 2 more breaths. Just bringing the time to center yourself on your mat. Tune in to your body and how it feels right now. So at your last breath, I'll get you to join me in Child's Pose. So that would be kneeling and then walking your hands forward to rest your forehead onto the mat. This is a great stretch here for the lower back. If you want to feel that stretch kind of move, you're going to reach your fingers forward and then slowly pull your hips back. So the farther you reach forward, you might feel that stretch a little bit higher in your back. If you're a little bit closer to the middle of the mat and you bring your hips all the way down to your heels, you'll feel a lower back stretch. So from Child's Pose, I'm going to get you to slowly walk your hands over to the right side of your mat. Breathing through the left side body. We'll stay here for 3 long, steady breaths. At your last exhale, go ahead and walk your fingers back to the center. Take a nice deep breath in and exhale, walk over to the left.
Stretching out the right side here, breathing for 3 full counts. And as you're breathing here, feeling that rib cage lift and push into your thigh. At your last breath, go ahead and walk the hands forward and rest again in child's pose.
And coming up, we're going to come into a head to knee pose. And that's where we're going to be seated on our sit bones. And I'm going to have my left leg bent and my right foot extended to the side. So with your left foot in, tuck it in nice and close to the inner thigh of your right leg. And go ahead and extend the toes to face towards the ceiling, or your right foot to face the ceiling. So head to knee pose, exactly as it sounds, or Janu Shasana. You're going to face your body towards your right foot and slowly hinge from your hips and bring your forehead nice and close towards your knee. And if you can, you're going to have both hands on the mat in front, closer to your right foot, or you can actually, if available to you, hold on to your right foot. And we'll stay here for 3 breaths. Let your last breath go ahead and come up. And from here, we're gonna do a twisted head to knee pose. So instead of having our torso facing towards our foot, we're gonna have our torso facing the long edge of our mat. So from here, you're gonna inhale the left arm up to the sky, and exhale, start to lean over towards the right foot. Again, try to flex those toes up. If available to you, you can go ahead and grab your foot with your left hand. If not, that's okay. You're just trying to open your chest, peel back that left shoulder, and stretch over to the right. So the stretch is really good for anyone who's been seated for too long. This stretches out the side here. The one core muscle that tends to shrink and contract when we're seated. We'll be here for 3 more breaths. And as you inhale, go ahead and lift yourself up. And exhale the left hand down. We're going to go ahead and switch legs here. So bend in the right leg. Extend the left leg out. Tuck your right foot close to the inner thigh. And you're going to sit, turning your torso to face the extended leg. So again, making sure those toes are flexed up. Inhale and lengthen your body. And exhale, lean towards that leg. Trying to bring head to your knee. Now, if this is too much, you can also put a little bend into that left knee. That way you can practice on lengthening your spine instead of curving down. And once you get into that nice lengthened spine, then you can try to start lengthening your leg
and straightening out the knee. So if available to you, you can go ahead and hold on to the left toes here. And if not, that's okay too. Just meet your body where you are. Again, 3 steady breaths starting now. At your next inhale, go ahead and lift yourself up and turn towards the center. So having our hips nice and leveled here, you're facing the long edge of your mat. When you're ready, you're going to inhale the right arm high and above, and exhale, start to lean down towards and trying to reach those left toes. You should be feeling a stretch through that right side body, closer to that hip. And remember, for this, you want to peel back that right shoulder, open up the chest, open up your heart, and trying to lean. So when you look up, you should be looking at the inner elbow. Staying here for 3 long, steady breaths. And at your last inhale, go ahead and stretch that right arm all the way up above and come down beside you. So from here, we're going to gently open up the hips. A lot of times if you're driving, you're essentially using only one leg a lot and it locks the hips in place. So for this, we're gonna do a couple windshield wipers. So sitting on your sit bone, placing your feet nice and wide, almost as wide as the mat here. And you're slowly going to, with knees bent, slide them over to the right side, bringing them back up and bringing them to the left. Now this is just a warm up here, so please don't push your knees further than they can go for now. And you're just slowly externally and internally rotating your hips. A little bit of attention and circulation to the legs and your hips. A lot of the times if they're locked in while you're seated, they will definitely get cramped up. So do one more set here, right, then left. And we'll come into a seated forward fold. So we're ready in that position, still seated on our sit bones. Go ahead and extend your legs ahead of you. And for this, you can either have a slight bend in your knees or you can have them straight. But from here, you're going to elongate the back again. Inhale and straighten, nice and tall. And then exhale, you're going to hinge at your hips and resting your hands either on the shins, on your knee, on your toes. Wherever it is that allows you to keep your back nice and straight. And you're trying to bring your belly button nice and close to your thigh. A nice way to know if you are straight backed or curved is to do a couple cat-cows here. So as you inhale, bring your chest forward and look up. And exhale, you're going to look towards your belly button. Inhale to curve upwards and exhale to round. So you've done a couple of these cat-cows. Curving the spine back and forth. And when you straighten, have this feeling of a little bit of tightness in your hamstrings, but you also feel your chest is still shining forward towards your toes. Head is lifted, chin nice and level, and you're just staring or gazing straight ahead. And at your last breath, go ahead and come up out of that fold. You can go ahead and kind of walk your legs to get a little bit of movement there. And from here, we're going to come into our twist. So Bharadvajasana is a twist named after a sage. And for this, you can, if you do have a little bit of height, or a pillow, block, book, you name it, I'm gonna get you to grab that. So from there, when you're kneeling here, I'm going to put this height right next to my left hip. And then I'm going to fall over and sit on that height. So this actually allows the hips to be nice and even, level across our mat. So if I were to lift my arms and bring them down, one arm is not going to be tilted all the way and leaning on the mat. They're going to be nice and even, fingertips stretched, same balanced towards the mat. Now we've got our hips in place, knees are facing ahead of us, your back feet. So my left toes are going to be at the instep of my right foot. And from here, we can now twist. So our left hand, placing it behind us, is going to keep our spine nice and straight and tall. Just for support here so you don't lean down. And as we inhale, we're going to bring our right arm up. Exhale, bring it across our left knee. Inhale again, and now we're going to turn towards the left. Inhale to lengthen, and exhale to look over your left shoulder. Always inhaling to lengthen, finding space, and then you can twist as you exhale. We'll stay here for one more breath. Nice inhale to lengthen, and exhale, untwist, coming back to center. So go ahead and lift yourself up off of the height there and bring it over to your right hand side. Right hip leaning on to your block, book, or pillow, and your right foot or the right toes are going to be tucked into the instep of your left foot. Making sure the knees are nice and ahead of you here. And again, just making sure that your hips are level and your arms are nice and balanced here. Fingers are the same distance apart from you on the mat. So from here, go ahead and use your right hand behind you to support. Left hand, inhale up. And bringing that hand across onto your right thigh. Using that to help twist, you're going to inhale and then exhale to turn. Inhale and lengthen, and turning to your right. And to finish off that twist, you're going to now turn and look over your right shoulder. And we're going to stay here for one more breath. Inhaling to lengthen. Last exhale, go ahead and untwist, coming back to center. So twists are really good at detoxing and just bringing circulation back into our vertebral column. A lot of the times, all those little cushions in between our vertebrae are all compressed and stuck. Twists are really good to bring that bounciness and squishiness back in. So from here, we're going to come into our cat-cow. So I'll get you to join me here in tabletop position, hips above knees and shoulders above wrists, making sure we have nice wide fingers, starfish fingers we call them, so that every pad on your hand is being used, including all fingertips. So from here, we're in a neutral spine. We're going to inhale to curve the spine, looking up, bring our tailbone up into cow, and then exhaling into a rounded back, looking towards your belly button, cat. Inhaling to curve the spine, looking up, and exhaling to round your back. Another really good exercise to get circulation back into your spine. We did a twist, and now we're going to bring flexion and extension. Always following your breath. I'll get you to do 2 more at your own pace. So inhale to turn, looking up, and exhaling to curve, looking down. Got your last breath, go ahead and come into a neutral tabletop. And we're gonna go into our lunges. So from here, go ahead and push back your right foot and then your left. Lift your hips and then lifting the right foot. Go ahead and extend and bring that foot right in between your right and left hand. So from here, we're going to inhale and bring both hands up into our first lunge. Making sure the hips are nice and level. Your front knee is going to try to be a 90-degree angle. And you have a nice straight back leg. You can have your heels up off of the mat if you'd like. But you can also put a slight bend into that lunge if you'd like as well. And from here, you're going to inhale the left arm up and above, and lean to the right. Stretching out a little bit more of that hip flexor there. You should be able to feel a stretch through that left thigh. Stay here for 3 breaths. Inhaling that arm up and bringing it down. Bring your hands down towards the mat and push your right foot back to meet the left. Next, go ahead and lift up that left leg and swish it down, placing it right in between your right and left hand. When you're ready, go ahead and lift both hands up to the sky, and you're in your high lunge. So I actually like to have a slight bend in my back leg, and just making sure we've got our hips nice and level, facing the short edge of your mat. Front knee 90 degrees. When you're ready, go ahead and inhale the right arm up and above, and then lean to the left. We'll be here for 3 long, steady breaths. Also a really good stretch here, especially when we're seated for too long. All of the front pieces, go ahead and inhale up. And the muscles on the front of our body are all shortened, so that stretches those out. Bring your left foot to meet the right to back behind you. And we're gonna come and do that one more time on the opposite side. So go ahead and lift right leg up and behind. swish forward, landing it right in between left and right hand. When you're ready, inhale both arms up, and exhale, lean to the right. 3 breaths. And then inhaling, bring that left arm down, placing both hands onto the mat, push that right leg back, and then go ahead and lifting the left leg. Swing in between those feet. Inhale, both arms up. High lunge. I'm gonna have my right hand now over and above me, reaching over to the left side. 3 breaths here. Inhale up, bring both hands down, and push that left foot to meet the back. And push into down dog. So go ahead and walk your dog a little bit here. Pushing your chest towards the thighs. Hips are the highest point here of your triangle. Should have one straight line from the hands up to your hips and one straight line from hips to the back of your heels. The full body stretch here for down dog. Breathing for 3, 2, and 1. Slowly, gently walking yourself up to the front of your mat. You're going to stay here in ragdoll, leaning forward, letting your head and your hands drop in front of you. You may want to hug the elbows in and kind of slide side to side here. And when you're ready, gently unfold yourself, coming to standing in mountain pose. So from mountain pose, we're going to come into our first chair. So inhaling the arms up above, and exhale, bending your knees, bring your hips back into your imaginary chair. Inhale, straighten, and exhale, come back down, imaginary chair. Inhale up, and exhale down. This one we're going to stay in our chair. Bring your hands forward, just to keep you balanced here in your chair. And we're going to come into a twisted side angle here. So hands at prayer. You're going to bring your left elbow over the right knee into a twisted chair. Bring your weight onto that right foot and then swing your left one all the way back behind you. Bring the heel down. You are in twisted side angle. So being here for a couple more breaths. At your last breath, go ahead and lift that elbow up, bring both hands down to the mat, and push your right foot back. Push into mini down dog there, and then walk, step, or jump yourself back into the top of the mat and roll yourself up. So I'll do another 3 chairs. So inhale the arms up, exhale down, inhaling, straighten, and exhale, pushing into your chair. Inhale, straighten, and exhale, nice and squishy into that nice comfy chair here. Hands in front of you to keep you balanced. So if you look down, your knees should be aligned over your middle toes, and knees should not go past your toes. Hands to prayer. Bring our right elbow over the left knee, weight onto that left foot, and then gently swing right foot back. Heel down, twisting into your side angle. We'll be here for a couple breaths. At your last breath, go ahead and bring your hands down to the mat. Push that left foot back and come into a down dog. We're going to be here for a couple more breaths. Stretching out the whole body here. And then walking yourself back up into standing. And we're going to come into Garland Pose, or also known as our yogi squat. So a lot of the times when we're seated, all this lower core bit here does tend to weaken. So having a yogi squat or a Garland Pose in the middle of your day is a good idea to keep those pelvis muscles working and keeping your ankles and hips nice and happy. So I'm gonna have a block here to help kind of gauge where I'm gonna bring my hips. And I'll get you to stand there with feet a little bit wider than hip width distance. Turning your toes out a little bit here. Keeping our hands on our hips. We're going to slowly bend the knees, making sure that they're coming over in line with your middle toes. And if you can reach your block or that height, you can sit on that height. If you don't have that height, that's okay. You can stay a little bit higher. You can also go lower. Depends where your body is right now. So you can kind of rock back and forth. With our hands in prayer now, you're gonna use those elbows to push those knees out. And then again, rocking back and forth. I'm gonna be able to sit on this block. So from here, since I'm sitting on the block, my focus is now actually on keeping my back nice and straight. I'm not curving or hiding in like a turtle. Keeping my neck nice and elongated. Spine should be nice and straight. And I'm still using that resistance here with my elbows to push those knees nice and wide. I'll be here for 3 more breaths. So Garland Pose is really good for opening the hips, strengthening your ankles, and working the lower pelvic floor. So at your last breath here, go ahead and pry your fingers apart, bringing them down to the floor in front of you, and just walking yourself forward onto the floor. Removing that height if you had that with you. And we're gonna come into a plank. So having our hands in front of us, shoulders over our wrists. We're gonna walk one leg back, straighten it out, and walking the other one back, straight, and we're in our plank. So with this plank pose, we're trying to strengthen the core that we're not using when we're sitting. So pulling your belly button into your spine, Trying to roll those shoulders back behind you so you have space between your earlobes and the shoulders. And trying to keep your back nice and neutral. So from here, bring your left hand in front of your face, twist onto the sides here of your feet and come into a side plank. And from side plank, you can also have both ankles on top of one another, or the right foot on front of the left, whichever one is good for you. And remember, you're trying to lift your hip nice and high away from the mat. Don't sink into that area. Try to keep it lifted, just like a bridge. When you're ready, bring your right toe behind you to find the floor. Okay, once you find that, you're gonna now use that foot to push your hip even higher, and you're going to rainbow your right arm over your head and into Wild Thing. 2 more breaths here. Last breath, go ahead and lift your right toe up off the floor, twist back to center, walking our hands so that they're in our plank pose. Still lifting that hip up nice and high. Go ahead and bring your right hand in front of your face. Twist to the right. Lift your left hand up into side plank. Try to lift that right hip up and above that mat. No sinking. When you're ready, lift that left foot. Find the mat behind you. And inhale, arch over. Bring your left hand over your head and pushing your hip even higher into the air. 2 more breaths. And as you exhale, turn towards center. Coming back into plank. Rest your knees down onto the mat. And then slowly walking yourself up into kneeling. So from here, we're going to stretch out the chest, or our heart region usually tends to be the most compressed as well when you're seated. If you're holding on to the steering wheel, or if you're like me, I'm driving like a grandma. I've got the steering really close to me and I'm hunched forward. So all of that compression here towards your heart really makes it pump harder than it has to. So we're gonna go ahead and do camel here to release that tension. So with that, if you have any blocks handy for you, this is a good pose to have blocks for. I'll show you what it looks like here and then we'll walk you into it. Okay, so that was camel. So to get into camel, have your blocks nice and close to your feet. You're going to be kneeling, hips above knees. And when we, lean back, you're trying to arch your back, but also keep your hips on top of your knees. So you're not trying to thrust your pelvis out towards the air. You're trying to keep all this connected and belted in, and you're just leaning the top half over. So you've got your knees here in a hip width distance apart. Hips are nice and stacked on top of the knees. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, start to lean back. Bring your head back. If you have your blocks, go ahead and grab your blocks. You can lean now on the blocks with your hands and gently push your chest up towards the ceiling and opening your neck here towards the ceiling, and breathe. So if available to you and you don't need the blocks, it'll kind of look like this. where you try to find your heels. And then also pushing your chest up towards the sky. And rolling your shoulders back behind you. We'll be here for 3 more breaths. And at your last breath, go ahead and use your stomach muscles to bring yourself up, and then your chin.
How was that? Hopefully you felt the opening there in camel pose. So from here, go ahead and keep a block or a pillow. We're gonna come into pigeon. Great hip opener here. Since we used our windshield wipers and head to knee pose to kind of warm up that hip, we should be able to get into pigeon, no problem. So I'm gonna have the block on my left side. You're gonna push yourself into down dog first. So from there, go ahead and lift your left leg, swing it all the way in front. And you're gonna rest your left foot right behind your right wrist. So once you're there, you're gonna go ahead and lower both legs down to the mat and bring that block or piece of height there right underneath your left hip as you lower down. So this block is just to make sure that your hips are nice and even again. Got a straight back leg pretty much. And you're gonna flex your left foot. Now if that's too much, that's okay. You can always bring that left foot nice and close towards your hip and lessen the opening there in your hip, in your left hip, sorry. But if you can, and you do want the a deeper stretch, what you want to do is use your right foot to toe yourself back until your shin is almost parallel to the short edge of your mat. And then go ahead and stretch and walk your hands forward, resting on your forearms. So the reason why I talk about pulling yourself backwards to get into that stretch is just to protect your leg. You don't ever want to take your left foot and drag it ahead of you to get into this. You want to pull yourself back to come into pigeon. So from here, we're just going to rest here for a little bit more. Sometimes it needs more time to allow gravity to work on that hip and sink you in deeper. Into pigeon or Kapotasana. And when you're ready, one more breath here. You're gonna walk your hands nice and close to you. Go ahead and untuck or tuck the toes of your right foot in to lift yourself up off of your left hip and bring that foot back. So now you're in your down dog. Bring that block to the right side. Lifting your right leg. You're gonna swing it forward. Plant that ankle right behind your left wrist. Bringing your knees down to the mat, hip down, and then resting that right hip onto your block. Trying to make your hips nice and even here so you're not tilting. Always think of it as you are a car. Those headlights here are on both right and left sides of your hips.
So if you were to shine your car lights forward, your headlights or your beams are not tilting to one side or the other. They're nice and even. So straightening that out. Again, if you feel like this is too tight, you can always bring your left foot in closer to your crotch. And if you do want a deeper stretch there, go ahead and tuck your back toes in and pull yourself back to bring your right shin more parallel to the short edge of your mat. And again, we'll stay here for a couple breaths longer, just so that we can let gravity work on that hip. Come down to your forearms. You can rest your forehead onto stacked fists if you like. So not only are your hips tight from being seated for too long, this joint also tends to hold a lot of unfiltered emotions. So if you tend to have tight hips, it may be because you're penting up a lot of emotion. So try to let that go. Try to open up your hip here. One more breath here. Go ahead and inhale yourself up, walking your hands back, tuck the back toes in, and use your foot to push yourself up off of your right knee and bring that right foot back into down dog. Go ahead and lower onto your knees, removing that block or height away from you. And we're going to turn around and come into a supine twist. So go ahead and come onto your back. And you're going to bring your hands nice and wide into a cactus pose, just to open that chest up a little bit further. Kind of adding on to what you opened up for camel. So with knees bent, you're going to bring your right leg over the left. Okay, nice. Cross-legged there. Go ahead and lift your hips and bring your hips over to the right side of your mat. And then as you exhale, gently bring your knees all the way over to the left-hand side. So to continue this twist, you're going to look over your right shoulder. And at your last breath, go ahead and bring your head center. And exhale, bring your legs center. Uncross the legs. Go ahead and bring your left foot over the right. Twisting or crossing the legs here. You're going to lift those hips and bring it over to the left side. of your mat. Inhale, lengthen, and then exhale, bring those knees down to the right side. And then following that twist, you're going to look over your left shoulder. Twists are supposed to help with digestion as well. So I guess, yeah, if you're driving really far or on an airplane for too long, perhaps your digestive system and motility isn't really there. So yeah, nice little twist here can help kind of get things going perhaps. At your last breath, you're going to exhale and bring everything to center. Gently uncross your leg. You're going to bring both knees in. Nice tight squeeze there. Rocking back and forth to massage the spine. And one leg at a time, you're going to lower into our final resting pose, Savasana. So guiding us here, you're going to come into nice resting position, lying on your back. Go ahead and rotate the palms so they're in a receiving position from whatever the world has to offer you. And just allowing your knees to rotate out and feet to fall to the side as they wish. Focusing on your breath here. No need to control it anymore. Just allowing the ebb and flow of each breath to come and go. So if you do have glasses on like I do, I suggest you take them off just for this part here in the yoga practice. Gently closing your eyes. We're gonna do a quick body scan to let go of any tension that you may be holding on to. So starting at your head, unfurl your eyebrows. Try not to wince your eyes, relaxing the jaw. Letting go of any neck tension and anything that you're holding in your shoulders. Relaxing the arms and your hands, unclenching your fists perhaps. Soften the belly. Letting the hips and the thigh go. Releasing any tension in your knees. And into your calves. If there's any tension in your heels or your toes, just let it all drain out. I managed to let go of controlling the breath, letting go of the body. Last here is the mind. So as we're lying here in Shavasana, we want to let that monkey brain just relax for a little bit. So any thoughts that are kind of floating around, you're going to gently acknowledge them and then put them back on the imaginary shelf. You'll get back to it later. Or you could imagine your brain as a roller coaster going from one thought to the next. You're going to step off of that roller coaster and you're just going to watch it go. You're not on the ride. You're just observing. Just like you're observing thoughts that come by, you're not following the train of thought. You're just simply being in the present moment. Savasana is a perfect moment or time to rejuvenate your mind. Give it some rest so it's ready for what you have in store for it. And it's letting your nervous system absorb all the nutrients and the goodness that you've done for the last hour here during your practice. You turned your parasympathetic nervous system on. You allowed the rest and digest to start working. Hopefully it lowered some stress levels. Hopefully it lowered the anxiety that we tend to rush through our lives by simply just being. So you're more than welcome to stay in Shavasana a little bit longer, but I'm going to gently guide you out if you're ready. Gently wiggling your fingers and your toes, keeping your eyes closed. You're going to take a deep breath in, flying it out, rolling yourself onto one side of your mat, and then you can slowly blink your eyes open, allowing that light to trickle in. Support yourself and push up into seated. Hands to heart center just to seal in this practice. Thanks for joining me today on yoga practice for the Weary Traveler. It was an honor teaching you. Namaste.